During earnings seasons, you will work about 16 hours per day as you listen to companies report their earnings, ask questions, update your models, and send out new reports. Now, this depends on how the analyst runs your group and what they focus on, whether it's on-the-ground research versus modeling versus industry analysis. Depending on the number of names you cover, such as 10 or 20 companies, that makes a big difference. Overall, you will work about 50 to 60 hours per week, with spikes to 70 to 80 hours per week during earnings season. The good news is that weekend work is quite rare. Companies don't report during weekends, but there may still be work that comes up for you to be prepared for a Monday's earning release. So every quarter when someone reports, you go through the entire earnings? What do you look for?
In one day. Depends what they say, right? We'll update the key numbers in the model. You look for stuff they say if they raise guidance. We have the earnings call, but then we have a call with their IR team after to answer any question. We get like 2 calls that day. We have the main earnings call, and then 2 or 3 hours later, you have a call with the IR team to go through, like, did this mean you were hinting at raising guidance? If that is, then we'll incorporate that into our note. It's fairly straightforward, right? They just update their quarter numbers and then decide if they want to change guidance. It's all prepped beforehand. The note's written, the skeleton of it. We just use like last month, and then we change what we think is going to happen. And then we leave blanks for all the numbers. And then our model's ready to go. Like, we've talked to the company already, so our numbers are fairly close already. And then, so it's like, let's say they report at 4 p.m. after hours, which if we're lucky, that'd be great. Spend maybe 2 hours going through the note, going through the model, writing the note. In that case, because we're under time pressure, I'll do the model, and then the director, my boss, will do the note. We'll publish something at 8 p.m. My boss will have talked to the IR guys. So he'll have phone calls like, let's say, 7 p.m. Is there anything coming out in the meeting tomorrow morning that we should know about? If they hint at something coming out during the conference call, then we'll maybe publish 2 notes, one that night and then one after the call. But if there's nothing important in the call, and most of the time, if they publish after hours, they know they're not going to do anything in the conference call. So we'll just not publish anything after the conference call.
And then after your directors finish the note, does it go to a proofreading?
Yeah, we have editors. Everything goes through editors. It depends on the length of the report. Our earnings notes are only 6 to 8 pages. They only spend like an hour with it. When we did a 2022 preview for our industry, we rolled out our models where we extended our DCFs, published like a 40-page note on that. They take like an entire day, sometimes like a day and a half. Initiations, they take a day and a half, 2 days. Earnings stuff, because they're so used to it, they only take like an hour, maybe 2 hours if it's long.
How much time do you get to do your part then?
If they report in the morning, we'll spend all day with it. And then to the publishers they'll get it out that night.
So you get 1 day to turn around?
Yeah, we get the whole day. They report it in the morning. If they report in the night, we just spend like 2 hours with it.
Oh, so it's interesting because for some tech companies or some healthcare companies, I see sell-side publish a note, and then the market moves in another direction. And then I see a follow-up note. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
So this is why some people wait a day or 2.
Yeah, it's all over the place, right? Like, because there's so many different sell-side people, it is like 10 different sell-side people covering one company. What one person says shouldn't change the market that much.
I see it more in tech companies, but there's the sell-side consensus, which is public, and there's the market consensus, right? So if there's a large deviation between the two, like a good example is what happened with Microsoft at first. They hit sell-side consensus, but it was way below what everyone else was expecting. But then they talked about guidance and they swung the stock around. How do you sort of manage that at the company level?
But that's
cool.
The conference call, right? Like their reported numbers were bad, but then when they talked about, or their initial report had cloud guidance below market consensus, but then when they were talking about it on the conference call, they ended up walking it back a little, and that's why it's like the conference call is really important. they have to be super careful what they say. They say anything slightly controversial, slightly like out of line with what people expect, and it just starts tanking.